everybody. Welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer betting podcast. And, George, we're here in the Club World Cup. Games are still going on. We tried to time this thing so we could get to you guys live here before the next game's kicked off, but then there's a rain delay, and all of a sudden, games are stacking up on top of each other. And, George, you know, I got to tell you, I'm having a lot of fun in this tournament. We're having so much fun. We wanted to bring on a special guest today. Please welcome Nick Diani, everybody. Yay. We're clapping for that. Nick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and, your gambling history here?
Yeah, appreciate it, boys. Thank you so much for having me on. Enjoying this tournament so far with you guys. Couple betting podcasts myself. So Kicks and Picks Pod at Kicks Picks Pod, Twitter and YouTube. Cover the EPL and Serie A weekly. And then the Plus Money Pod at the Plus Money Pod. 15 minutes or less EPL picks, run through the games every week. So been doing both for about 2 years now. So similar to you guys, just try to get on here, have a little bit of fun, stream out to the audience. And fortunately, we've been giving out some winners for the past couple of years. So excited to do it with you all today.
Thanks, man. We're happy to have you. And in that Plus Money Pod, I love getting on there because if I want some plus money value, all your guys' picks on that are always plus money, which is a lot of fun. Jord, how you doing? How you doing for this first match day of the Club World Cup here?
I'm doing well, Dev. I'm more excited for the second match day, though. We weren't quite sure going into match day one what to expect from the tournament. We talked about that a lot. And I'm pleased to report that seemingly all of the teams are taking it very seriously. All the stars are out there except Mbappe, who's apparently hospitalized with some gastrointestinal issue, and Haaland not starting, stuff like that. But generally, all the big boys are out here. Everyone's looking to win this thing, and you love to see it. I think really by the time we get to the round of 16 in this thing, it's going to be incredible because we'll get some of the teams that really have no chance, like the poor Auckland City, stuff like that. Get those guys out of here, and it'll be really pretty competitive, I think. Really pleased with what I've seen from some of the South American teams I don't get to watch very often, and teams from around the world. I was really impressed with Urawa Red Diamonds and their crowd support. Incredible scenes. Just love to see it. It really feels like a World Cup, but for clubs. So it's good stuff. We did okay on round one, so I'm looking forward now that we've seen all the teams play. I think we should have a little bit sharper bets here for this round two, and we brought in Nick to help us increase our results here. We've got a little bit of VIG to make up.
That's right, Jordan. I'll go ahead and throw up the match day results from match day one here. Both of us middling. Look at that. That is just losing VIG. I went
so
4-4-1. George went 3-3-0. Combined tournament total for us 6 wins, 6 losses with 1 push. Not the best we've ever done, but like Kylian Mbappe, we're gonna get an IV in. We're going to start feeling better. What do you think happened to him? What do you think he ate?
Guy had his first taste of American food, couldn't handle it. I don't know.
Right. He came in and he was like, I usually just eat bread and cheese. And like, yeah, baby, it's got red 5
Where was their game again? Where were they?
They were in Miami.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Who knows? That's where you're in Florida, right,
for the
Nick?
first time and maybe a coffee with sugar. And
it's done. Yeah, it's a little bit different than the Parisian food, okay? You got to harden your stomach. Well, let's dive in here, guys. We've got, we're covering a bunch of games. These are all from round 2 here. We'll be back on Sunday to cover the next round of games. And the fixtures are coming in thick and fast here. So if you want to be updated, if you want to know all of our bets, be sure to like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, follow us across all the social media platforms. We're everywhere. We're putting out clips. We're putting out live streams. We're playing picks, putting out picks. That's what I wanted to say. So please give us a follow, do all that good stuff. And let's go ahead and dive in, guys, to our first matchup. This one, it's actually kicking off today. It's Paris Saint-Germain against Botafogo. This one kicking off in my neck of the woods down at the Rose Bowl at 6 p.m. Western time or Pacific time kickoff here and 9 p.m. Eastern time. This one sees Paris Saint-Germain as probably the big winners of the first round, defeating Atletico Madrid in a drubbing 4-0. They're now 2-goal favorites against Botafogo here, who also picked up 3 points on the road in Seattle and winning that one in a 2-1. So The total here is set at 3.25. So what do we think about this matchup, guys? I'll throw it to you first, Jord. PSG, everybody's crowning them already tournament favorites, but both of these teams are on 3 points.
Yeah, that's right, Tev. This should be a fun one. It's kicking off at 6 p.m. at the Rose Bowl. That sounds nice. Much better than noon at the Rose Bowl, like the last time PSG played. Should be a little more comfortable for the teams out there. Yeah, actually, I'm kind of surprised the lines haven't adjusted more because PSG seems so dominant. Like Atleti was supposed to be one of their biggest tests, and they steamrolled them. So it's kind of hard to see where the challenge is going to come from. They just look like they're still in the same form they were when they waxed Inter in the Champions League final. So you got to play some pretty prohibitive prices, really, if you want to get them on side here, right? Take them on the -2. You need them to win by 3 clear goals. Could totally happen, but Botafogo seemed pretty frisky. Match day 1. They could cause some problems. So I left this alone in terms of the general markets. But I do have one play for the game, and I'm just going back to the well, baby. It's been making money for us hand over fist. Achraf Hakimi, over 0.5 shots on target, to have one shot on target. I got that at plus 112, but the bookies are getting wiser. The market's starting to dip on it just a little bit, so get that soon if you still believe in our boy Achraf. And Nick, what'd you see in this game?
Dude, that's a great pick. That was, plus 200 a couple weeks ago. So
Yep.
You were getting that regularly, and they've adjusted, but not quick enough. Getting it at plus money still. Absolutely with you on that. Taking a look at the board here, and it looks like both teams to score actually improved quite a bit. So I was initially, I'm on Botafogo to score a goal. Just to get one is minus 120. And now looking at both teams to score at plus 110, that might be the better play. It was minus 130 on my book when I looked at it. So I'm like, all right, let me, if we think Botafogo is scoring, I think we all probably believe PSG is scoring as well. But like you said, looked really good round 1. They're in the middle of their season. They're going to get up for this game. And I don't think PSG is completely invincible. They're going to have to slow down at some point. There's going to be tired legs. I can totally see them getting something out of this game. By something, I mean getting a goal. I wouldn't necessarily lay PSG -2. I don't think there's any upside to it. Could you? Absolutely. Could they win 4-0? Sure, but why take that risk, especially in a group stage game? So I think if you're playing,
well, I'm going to tell you right now, Nick, that's exactly what I'm fucking taking, baby.
Okay.
I'm taking the -2. Let's go. Plus 105. Look, I've been saying it since the start of this tournament. I think this is the best team. I think this could be a historically great team, right? This PSG, and they're just steamrolling everybody. Botafogo is a step down from Atletico Madrid, in my opinion. Sure. That game against Seattle Sounders, they got up 2-0, and then they just bunkered down and tried to defend against Seattle, launching in crosses. And these MLS teams, they just don't have the quality to finish. But they're going to be pinned in this whole game. They've already got 3 points, so I think they're just playing for the draw here. So I think they're just going to try to defend for their lives, and this just does not work well against this PSG side who have so many guys who can break down low blocks, the way that they interchange with one another, the way they play their passing combinations. I could just see them, running away with this thing, winning easily, and then saying, okay, now we can really rest guys for our next game against Seattle, right? Because that one isn't probably going to matter if they're already on 6 points. So yeah, it's a little chalky. It makes me nervous. I'm not going to lie, because it is a big spread to take here. But maybe the better way to attack this game would be to look at it live, right? To take something live as we start watching through it. But I do think PSG could just run away with this thing. We'll see what kind of rotation it looks like, but as far as I know, they've got a clean bill of health and should be starting all those big guns. And if they get this win, they take care of this early, then they get to rest, I think, in that third match against Seattle. So let's also keep in mind that they've been here this whole time, right? They came to LA, they've been in LA for their first game, and now this game. Botafogo traveling from Seattle, it's not that far of a distance, but maybe it does something for them. They'll certainly be up for this game. I think it's going to be a really fun watch either way. If Botafogo do score, Nick, I'm probably fucked in terms of the thing. So I wouldn't say we're oppo, but I think both of those plays hitting will be difficult. But why not? Let's see if we can get the
3-1
have to
win.
be here?
4-1 win. Everybody's happy.
4-1, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
We've
And
seen
also,
that many goals.
Nick, you can get Botafogo. I gave it to you now at plus 100, even
there you
money there, because it increased solidly along with that, both teams to score. So really nice value on that. I could see it. Look, Atleti had chances. Atleti scored, but chalked off for a foul in the build-up. Things happen. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, and PSG probably lucky to get that fourth goal. It was the penalty at the very end of the game there in that first match. But look, this one's tonight, so get your bets in, guys. We got to go shop around, and as you just heard us discussing the different prices on different books, as always, you got to shop around. Get on several different outs so you can see what the best prices are, because they do vary quite a bit. But let's move on. We got another matchup, another tasty matchup. It's Bayern Munich against Boca Juniors. This one sees Bayern as 2-goal favorites, -2, and the total is set at 3.25. Same as the last game, right? We've got a South American side against a big European team, and we've got a -2 goal spread here with a pretty high total. The Boca Juniors Benfica game was, for my money, probably the most fun game that we've seen so far. It ended 2-2. We had multiple red cards. The Boca Juniors support is absolutely incredible. Those fans traveling en masse here. And Bayern, look, we all talked about it, right? The 10-0 victory against Auckland. So what do we project here, Jord, when we take a look at the German Giants here against the South American Giants?
Well, we project fun, Dev. I think this should be an entertaining game. I'm not seeing a 10-0 here, but I'm also probably not seeing 2 red cards and all the insanity that the last Boca game gave us. That game really did have everything, and the Auckland Bayern game had just one thing, which was old school machine Bayern crushing. So I don't think this game will look like either of those, but I do expect it to be an entertaining game. This is one where I've gone with goals. I do expect Bayern probably to score most of the goals, but I could easily see Boca Juniors getting after this Bayern high line. A little bit depleted in the back, Bayern still. So a team with some better quality than Auckland City could be able to hurt them. They don't have their first choice center back partnerships back there. So I think Boca could easily get on the score sheet here. So I'm just going to take the straight up over. It's lined at 3.25, but I'm going to be a little greedy and just play it at over 3.5. That's coming in at plus 110. I think we could get 4 goals in this one. What do you think?
With you 100%. I think if we do that Boca is going to need to contribute just a little bit. So both teams to score at even money. I'm all over it. I think they, again, like you said, have a lot of traveling support. They're going to be up for it. They have fresh legs, right? Their season hasn't started yet, or they're in between right now. I forget what they're doing in Argentina right now.
Yeah, they're about like a third of the way through,
right?
maybe.
Okay,
yeah.
So I think they're going to get up for it, and same situation as llast game. Why would you lay 2 with Devin? Don't tell me you're doing it, but why would you lay 2 with Bayern? I mean, Bayern could win this game again, 5-0, 6-1. They have the firepower, but Boca's not going to let that happen to them. I think in this one, I think they looked good, especially really early in that last game. They could have probably had 3 or 4 goals. They settled for 2. They gave 2 back, but they should get up for it. If they get chances early, I like them to get a goal. So both teams to score.
Yeah, that's all, guys. I'm actually going the other way here. I'm going Boca +2. +2 on the Asian handicap at -1. And the reason being is that, look, if they had won that Benfica game, we assume they're going to beat Auckland, so they're probably through. Now they drew Benfica, so now it becomes a goal differential game, right? So both teams will probably lose to Bayern, but how many goals can they score against Auckland, and how few can they lose against Bayern? So I think their game plan here is just, let's keep it tight. Yeah, we're going to try to score. We're going to try to bring the game to them, but the worst thing they could do is get blown out here. So I like getting that full two goals on the Asian handicap. Feels like a pretty good deal to me there. And the support, Bayern, they're tough. They're a tough team, but I don't know if they're ready for how just fucking insane this is going to be. There's over under on broken bones in this match could be pretty high, like a fun bet, because these South American sides, with the support they play in front of, it's like they will die on the field with no problem. So this is going to be a lot of fun, I think. It's Bayern Munich, just incredibly skilled team against just a street dogs in a street fight here. So really fun to watch. No idea what's going to happen, but I think that +2 is a little bit too high given what Boca Juniors need to do to advance here. Cool. Well, let's move on to our next matchup here, and it's once again a European team against a South American team. It's Flamengo against Chelsea. This one sees Chelsea as half a goal favorites here, and the total is set at 2.5. Both of these teams getting tidy 2-0 victories in their first round games. They now turn their attention to one another. And I'm going to be honest, guys, this is one of the ones I've had circled for a while. Like once I saw the groups come out, I was like, ooh, Flamengo, currently the top of the Brazilian league against this Chelsea side, who, should they have won by more against LAFC? I certainly was disappointed that they didn't. I had them on the money line and over 2.5 goals in that match, and they only won 2-0, the dreaded 2-0, as we like to say. But, Jordan, what do you think about this matchup here with Flamengo against Chelsea?
Well, Dev, yeah, just to echo on from what you're saying there, I was a little disappointed in Chelsea in the first round. It seemed you and I were watching that game together, and we were talking about how it seemed like for all the teams we're talking about taking it seriously, they kind of seemed like they were treating it like a friendly or a training exercise. They didn't seem that up for it. But I've kind of had that feeling about Chelsea for a while now. They just haven't been that like silky and smooth with all the like talent they have on the pitch. It's not that cohesive. They don't really wow you. They're not consistently creating chances. And we saw more of that against LAFC. They just didn't create a whole lot. They're kind of settling for, distance shots or second balls, mistakes from the opposition, not clearly creating chances. And so when I took a look at this Flamengo team, it was the first time I'd watched them play, and all I remember from it was Jorginho on the ball the entire time. Just like metronome, constantly on the ball, recycling possession, total possession game. So that makes me think that this one, when Flamengo has the ball, they're just going to be knocking it around, probing. Chelsea's probably not going to give them much. And Chelsea's going to try to look to counter with their pace, but they just don't do that very effectively these days. So I think this one could end up being kind of boring. So I'm going with the under here. Under 2.5 goals at -118. Maybe a little risky because I know Nick thinks differently.
Yeah, man, you're making a convincing argument. I hate to oppose anybody. Over 2.5 for me. Just the numbers too good to pass up. Most of these games have had goals. Even money, it actually improved since we talked about it. So I appreciate you finding a better number here. Flamengo looks good, and they've been good, as you mentioned, Dev, in the Brazilian league. They're going to come to play. They're going to have support, and I mean, a win over Chelsea, I just feel like means a lot for them. So we've been kind of looking at that team total over 1.5 at +250. Like, seen crazier stuff. So I like goals in this one. I see a 2-1 game one way or the other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going with the dog here. I'm going with the +0.5 goal for Flamengo. I think a draw suits them, as we've talked about with some of these other matches, and I think Flamengo's might be really good. And we don't forget the Jorginho revenge game angle, right? He's coming up against his former team. Yeah, Flamengo, look, they've kept a clean sheet in 4 straight matches across all comps, haven't lost outright in 9 across, again, across all competitions. And both of these teams have some under streaks, which makes me like the dog a little bit here, getting that half a goal. Although we have seen Flamengo with 5 straight wins and Chelsea with 4 straight wins.
So you're saying the over is due. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
That's what I heard.
I mean, you pointed out the team total there at +250. I wonder if you could just get them to score once at like a playable price as well.
I just think Chelsea's a little overvalued in this game. I think we're seeing a little bit of the English tax on this one.
Yeah, that's a great point. I agree with you there because Chelsea was pretty impressive at the end of the season, but it does feel like these European teams, they played like a long fucking season, and now they stop. And normally they would have their off time. Like they're designed by the sports science guys to have breaks at this point, and now all of a sudden they have to play this tournament. while the South American teams are just getting started,
Yep.
So I think that does give them a little bit of like a rest advantage. And then you add on the crowd support, like 25 people are Chelsea fans and they're all like CEOs. So like, who's gonna show up for Chelsea here? We saw nobody at the Atlanta game, given the game in Atlanta against LAFC. But give me Flamengo here. Double chance to win or draw. I'll take it -103.
I like it.
And speaking of 25 people, we got between 24 and 30 people live with us right now. It keeps hovering. It looks like people are coming in as they're killing time before Messi kicks off. I want to hear what some of these people think are going to happen in these games. Drop your predictions or your best bets in the chat here so we can go over those. Or if you got any angles you want us to talk about, would love to see it. Encourage the dialogue.
Yeah, appreciate that, Jordan. Well, let's move on. We got 3 more matches we're covering for you guys, and it gets started next with Internazionale Milano against Urawa Red Diamonds. This one, once again, wow, the bookies are getting bored here. It's a -2 for the European side, 2-goal favorite, and the total set at 3.25. Once again, look, Inter drawing against Monterrey, a 1-1, and we're going to get to Monterrey later, don't you worry. But that game was phenomenal as well. That one taking place in Pasadena. And the Red Diamonds lost outright, but had incredible support. So now they got to turn around and face another really difficult test against Inter. I'll start with you, Nick, on this one. What do you think about this matchup here?
Yeah, I think you need to see some sort of response from Inter in this one. They've been obviously through turmoil. You guys mentioned it at the top of the show, that losing the Champions League final. They've also lost the domestic league, they lost their cup, and they lost their coach. So, it's a team in transition, to say the least. This is a game, to me, that I think we're going to see a lot of rotation. I think you're going to see some of the fringe players, maybe some of the young guys, academy guys, get some run. They're going to want to impress. And, I think Christian Kiva, who took over for them, he's, a former Inter player. He was a youth coach. I don't think he's radically or drastically changing the style of play, but which is going to be good. But you're going to need to see some new blood, and they're going to want to see a response, especially if they want to make the second round. So they're going to need to win this one. They're going to need to score some goals. I like their team total over 2.5 at -125.
Yeah,
how about you,
good
Jordan?
stuff. Yeah, I think this could be an exciting one too. I could see Inter scoring a lot of goals, but I will also say that Red Diamonds were the scoreline, the 3-1 against River Plate, definitely flattered River Plate. They were hanging on for long periods of that match. They really had trouble in the second half because Red Diamonds kept talking about it on the commentary, just how fit they are. The engine on these guys, they never stopped running, and their pace just continued throughout the game. And as River started to get tired, they were creating a lot of problems. Needed some better finishing, but on another day, they could have had maybe gotten something out of that match. So I kind of like them to get on the score sheet here. I think the +110 is a really attractive price. I think Inter has looked leggy. They look really tired. They've played a lot of soccer this season. So when I watched them on the pitch, not only in that Champions League final, but I saw it again. I was kind of looking for that in their first round game, and they just, not that they didn't look interested like the way I felt about Chelsea, but just that they looked gassed. Like I've never seen Thuram look that slow, and he came on as a sub. So it was weird. And I think they might have some trouble again with the dynamism of this fit Japanese team. So just give me both teams to score, and that goes along well with what Nick's taking too. We could, once again, we're looking for a 4-1 or 3-1 kind of thing, right?
No, I think you're spot on. They're doing this weird thing where they get a lot of chances early, but they're not putting away those chances, and they just start to tire by the end of the game. So, like I said, I definitely do expect to see some rotation in this one. They can't lose this game. I mean, I know it's too early to call it a crisis, but I mean, if they were to not win this game and kind of crash out in the competition, I don't know how you get back up. So that's kind of what I'm banking on in this one.
Right on. Yeah. Well, look, you mentioned the chances Inter getting. Look, they had the 3rd most expected goals throughout the first round. Okay. 2.7 against Monterrey, only came away with 1 goal there. And of course, how often are we see anybody score off of a set piece against Inter? And then of course it's Sergio Ramos. Well, Like, the guy's been doing it a long time. He knows what he's doing. I elected to stay off of this one just because I'm a little worried about Inter. We haven't seen them have a great result in quite some time. You mentioned the players look tired. The good news is they're not at the damn Rose Bowl, so they can go up. They're up in Seattle for this one, so it's going to be a little bit cooler at least. Like, they're not going to be just melting out there. Because even the 6 p.m. kickoff's still pretty hot. They're also playing against a Monterrey side that is basically at a home game when they play in Pasadena. So, yeah, I just wanted to stay away. I need to see a little bit more from Inter and this Red Diamonds team. You're right, George. We're kind of impressive there against River Plate, and should have had a little bit. Maybe had another couple of goals there. But let's move on to our next game. Two teams we just mentioned before. It's River Plate against Monterrey. This one sees River Plate as quarter goal favorites, and the total is set at 2.25. Victor Sabas in the chat says Monterrey. I think he said that every single time we've recorded, which is incredible. Thank you, Victor.
Big fan of Monterrey.
So, interesting little tidbit here I'll give you guys before we dive into the picks here, but Monterrey, they'll be playing every single game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Huge support here in Southern California for any of the Liga MX sides. And now they come up against this River Plate team who, have the most strong support as well, right? Like, traveling to these games. So this is going to be an intense one, I would say. And I'll start with you here, Jord. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, intensity for sure. It's going to be, what'd you call it earlier, like a bone breaker, a bloodbath. I could definitely see that kind of thing playing out here. Slow paced, a lot of late challenges, ref having his hands full in this one. For some reason, though, I still think, for whatever reason, I just have 1-1 written all over this.
Could see it.
And yeah, I just can't get out of my head. I looked at what the 1-1 correct score is. It's plus 650. Tempted by that, tempted by the outright draw, plus 240. But in the end, I elected to just go both teams to score yes, minus 110, which is probably the most cowardly of the three things I just mentioned. But I might sprinkle on that correct score as well. But that's my official play here. Both teams to score yes, minus 110. The market can't split it. They've got it minus 110 either way. I'm going to go on the side of fun and say yes, but I don't think we'll get too many more goals after that.
How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I dig it. I think you're onto something. I don't think this is exactly a super high scoring game. I don't know that we're going to see 5-6 goals, but I just think River Plate are a better team. I had to scroll back an awful long way to see when the last time they lost a game was. If you're offering me the better team at plus money, pretty much going to take it. I'm not going to say I'm an expert on either of these sides, but plus 110 feels like really good value, even though Monterrey is essentially playing a home game. Listen, they've been very good, but I just think the quality of River's a little bit too much in this one.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out who the referee is for this. I'm not seeing anyone assigned yet, but I hope FIFA is aware of what's going on, because Jordan, if the security is like how it was for PSG Atleti, I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath on the field, in the stands, in the parking lot. So yeah. They better figure this thing out, because I'm not sure they're ready for what is about to happen here. I have the potential to go to this game, and honestly, I'm a little bit nervous. I don't think it's something I want to be a part of at all. But look, we've been talking around it, and I'm just going with the under here. Look, it's low. It's 2.25. I think that tells you what the bookies think of this. I think you could look at maybe taking just like an exact score 0-0 at halftime type of bet. Probably get some good plus money on that, because I just think goals are going to be hard to come by. It's going to be a slog. That being said, we've seen over 2.5 goals in 8 of the last 10 River Plate matches across all comps, with both teams scoring in 8 of their last 9. So I'll be honest too, River Plate's not a team that I watch week in and week out. So maybe I'm totally wrong here, and they're gonna just be wide open. They gave up only 1.1 xG in their first game, which is exactly how much Monterrey put up. So I think you guys are probably right about that 1-1 score line, but I'm just going to go with the under 2.25. Hope it just stays at like a 1-0 or something here.
Yeah, so someone has to be disappointed here, right? Because before Devin gave his play, we needed a 2-1 so that Nick could win the River Plate money line. I could get the both teams to score, but then that wouldn't be okay for Dev because he needs it to go under 3 goals. So someone will be happy, someone will be disappointed, or we'll all find a way to lose.
Right? Yeah. Cue up like the I don't know.
Monterrey 4-0.
We always joke
there you
about
go.
that, right? If there's potential for it, you know it's coming in. We just gave the cat the golden ticket for the round.
Oh, I'm glad that you're a true bettor because you understand how jinxes work. That's we all know how it works when you say it out loud. Well, let's move on. We got one final game, and it is Mamelodi Sundowns against Borussia Dortmund. This one sees Dortmund as a 1.5 favorites, and the total is set at 3. Mamelodi, standalone top of this group, the only ones who were able to pick up a victory and 3 points. Dortmund drawing with Fluminense in that one, a 0-0. Mamelodi winning against, I believe it's Ulsan HD, and they won that one 1-0. So what do you think about this matchup, guys? We got a pretty big spread here, the 1.5, total set at 3. Jordan, I'll start with you. Where are you looking in this match?
Well, Dev, I left this one alone. I did not have a play for this one. I do want to mention, though, that we actually do still have 2 other games, so maybe we do need to pick it up here. I know you said this was the last one, but 2 more games to cover after this, so we can turn up the speed here, and I'll pass it to Nick because I didn't have anything for this one.
Yeah, I'll go quick. Dortmund really disappointed me last game. It's a team that based on their schedule, based on I think the quality of the team, I thought they were undervalued coming into the tournament. So I have a couple futures on them for like quarterfinals and, semifinals and stuff like that. So I need them to win this game. So I am emotionally doubling down on that. I think their team total is in play here. I actually got it at plus 120 for them to score 3 goals. But I think the over 3 is pretty playable on its own. So goals in this one, they need it. These teams need it. I'm hopeful for a much better performance.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the dog once again here, plus a 1.5 for Mamelodi. Look, I think we can both come in here. Dortmund can easily win this game just by 1. Mamelodi, no disrespect, and they can go on and still hold their heads high and probably get through the group, depending on what Fluminense does. So the Sundowns, they've got a couple of Brazilian strikers up top who are pretty good with it. You can see they have the colors of Brazil there with the green and yellow. I guess they base a lot of their club off the way Brazil plays, which is sure, we'll take it. They're part of the BRICS unit trying to change the global currency. And now I'm getting ahead of myself. Look, I'm just taking the dog here, rinse and repeat, plus 1.5 goals. And you're right, we have 2 more things I did not make cards for because I don't think I have plays on these games, but we'll take a look at Manchester City against Al-Ain Football Club. This one sees City as massive favorites here, minus 2 3/4 goals. Total set at a high 3.5. We saw City come out with a 2-0 victory. We cashed our bet on that one, which was the first half team total over 1.5. And then they were sort of, typical Pep Guardiola. Let's just kick the ball around. Let's get out and go to the next match. Al-Ain got absolutely pasted by Juventus last night. Now they got to turn around and face Manchester City. It doesn't get any easier for these teams. Nick, I'll jump over to you first, but what do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, thanks for showing up to that one, guys. I think if Juventus can score 5 goals on Al-Ain, then Manchester City most certainly can as well. Team total over 3.5, plus 125, now down to plus 120. That's the extent of my knowledge. I didn't know this other team existed until 2 days ago, so certainly hope City could score 4.
Yeah, interesting wrinkle about this is Al-Ain are from the United Arab Emirates, who own Manchester City. So will there be any sort of, hey, Pep, go easy on us, man?
Possible.
But yeah, I think even if they did go easy on him, it would probably still be a complete battering. Look, as Dev said, we split the game in half in the last Man City match. Worked out well for us, just trying to make a more playable price by cutting the game in half. I've done the same thing here with this one because, like you said, Nick, I can't remember the last time Juventus scored more than 3 goals in a game. So if they're able to do that, then this could get ugly, and I think it starts in the first half. So I cut it in half and took Man City minus 1.5 in the first half, and that's coming in at plus 135. That's massive value to me. So 2-0 3-1, something like that in the first half.
Right on. Well, Bob D in the chat agrees with you. He says 2 goals, first half, Man City. Let's go. So that's funny that, people are on that play for you, Jord. I stayed off of this one just because, I mean, what the fuck, Pep Roulette? Like, you're just not going to start Erling Haaland. He's got all the new guys in there. I can't stand it with Man City. Although they cashed for us, I can't do it anymore.
Nice to
My
see
blood pressure's too high.
Foden back playing well after he destroyed my fantasy season all year long. And now he suddenly
goal and
looks
assist.
Good again. Yeah.
And that Al-Ain team, I don't know if you saw any of that match, but Juventus was just taking shots from outside the box. They only put up 1.6 XG, conceded 5 goals. Too bad for you, Al-Ain. But let's move on. We got one more matchup for you guys, and it is Red Bull Salzburg against Al-Hilal. This one sees Al-Hilal as favorites here of 3/4 of a goal, minus 0.75, and the total set at a flat 3. This is one I didn't have a play on, guys. So, Jordan, I'll let you jump in here. What did you see in this matchup?
Well, Dev, I'm going back to the well with Salim Al-Dawsari from Al-Hilal, our guy we've been talking about a little bit now. Had a play for him in the Discord server. Just really like the way this guy plays. And you said, what did I see? I saw him everywhere in that last match. He was running the show. Pretty unlucky to not get on the score sheet there. There were just some last-second interventions where he was right about to score, and then it would get deflected. Or I think he has a little bit more joy in this one against the Salzburg team, RB Salzburg, who FIFA is insisting on calling FC Salzburg because they can't do any sponsorship stuff, so the Red Bull can't be mentioned. Very funny. But yeah, just a player prop for me, and that's for him to score or assist in this one. Salim Al-Dawsari, score assist, plus 120. I think he was knocking at the door the entire time in match day 1. I think he gets on it in this one.
Just a player you love to watch. Like you want a guy that just wants the ball all the time. Wants to make things happen. So I'm rooting for you. Hope it comes through. Just weird game for me. I figured if there was a spot to take a stab, maybe we go for a draw on this one. Plus 300. I don't know how much is between these guys. I think Red Bull's going to take it seriously. They looked pretty good, I thought, in their first matchup, but I think they're capable of a little bit more. I wouldn't mind them at plus 3/4 of a goal at minus 120. I think that's pretty decent. But Al-Hilal, I think they're still getting used to what's going on, and transfers in, out, new coach. Can't really ever make heads or tails. I confuse those teams a lot out in Saudi Arabia, quite honestly. So I'm taking a stab at the draw here, but not my strongest play by any stretch.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Plus 300, there's value.
Right.
Oh, big value. Yeah, I was disappointed to see Alexander Mitrovic not starting. I thought he was going to be up for the golden boot in this tournament. Thought he'd be thirsty, hungry, all of the above. But I don't know. I guess he's got some kind of knock. Hopefully he'll feature at some point in the tournament. But so the draw there for Nick and Al-Dawsari to score or assist.
Right on. Well, that's all the games that we're going to have plays for. But guys, before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
Well, we got the official plays, and we've added Nick onto the screen. If you guys can see, I'll go ahead and read my plays out, and then you guys can each do your own as well. I've got PSG -2 on the Asian handicap at plus 105. That one kicking off tonight. We've got Boca Juniors +2 on the Asian handicap, minus 114. Flamengo plus a half a goal, minus 103. River Plate Monterrey under 2.25. And that one minus 103. And then Mamelodi Sundowns plus a goal and a half at even money. I'm taking dogs except for PSG was the biggest spread. So what could go wrong, huh?
Indeed, Dev. Love seeing all these plays on the screen here. And I took Achraf Hakimi for that shot on target. Keep printing that money, baby. That's coming in at plus 112, but I know that's dropping as we speak. I also have over 3.5 goals in Bayern Boca Juniors. That's coming in at plus 110. In Flamengo and Chelsea, I went the other way, took under 2.5, minus 118. Inter, Urawa Red Diamonds, both teams to score yes, plus 110. River Plate, Monterrey, both teams to score yes, minus 110. Man City, first half, minus 1.5 on the Asian handicap, coming in at plus 135. And most recently mentioned Salim Al-Dawsari to score or assist at plus 120.
Man, no pressure at all to have 8 plays here.
Yeah.
I was given a list of the games we were going to cover, so came up with a play for each one. Guess we'll see how this one turns out. But as you guys can all see here, really leaning towards goals in this competition. I think teams are going for it. There's prize money involved. There's been good fan support, I think, despite what you see on Twitter. So these games have been good. They've been exciting. I think this is a good tournament. So I'm playing into that. These teams want to advance to the next round. They want to make more money. A lot of them need goals to do that. So that's how the plays line up. Botafogo team total, get a goal on the score sheet for us at even money. Bayern and Boca Juniors, both teams to score at even money. Flamengo and Chelsea over 2.5 at even money. And a couple of team totals here with Inter over 2.5, minus 125. Dortmund over 2.5, plus 120. Man City over 3.5 at plus 125. With the River Plate money line squeezed in between. And then the one we're taking a real shot in the dark here is the Salzburg Al-Hilal draw at plus 300.
Right on. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. As always, please give us a like, follow, subscribe, check us out on all the socials, and especially where you get your podcasts, especially where you watch your videos on YouTube. We would love that. And thank you so much to Nick Diani for coming on. You can check him out on the Plus Money Pod and the Kicks and Picks podcast. Definitely check those guys out. They have some very sharp plays there to make you guys some more money. And I think that's going to do it for us. Let's get out of here, Jord. Any last words for the people?
Just thanks for tuning in. Everyone who's in here right now, drop a like on your way out. It takes 1 second. And yeah, thanks again, Nick. Really fun having you on. Hope to do it again sometime.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Well, until next time, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.
Martial. Herrera.